many loves. Put on some nitrile gloves and listen in. We'll help you out. We'll help you with some sex with Robin. Sex with Robin. You know you want sex with Robin on Split Radio. Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. Welcome to Sex with Robin on Split Radio. And I fucked up my name there. It says Robin Beach, and then it's got the parentheses, she, her, and then no, not one on the other side. Okie dokie. Welcome, everyone, to Sex with Robin on Split Radio, where we talk about sex, dating, kink, any and all of that good shit. My name is Robin Beach. I use she, her pronouns. And good morning. Got a good morning, Robin. And yes, good morning, good afternoon, depending where you are. It is morning for me. It is just after 10 a.m. On Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern, right after the Many Loves lunch hour. I am a former stripper, former pro-dom, former nurse with experience in cardiology, psychology, and sexual health. And now I am a sex educator / consultant / coach, taking on all kinds of odd jobs here and there, and it's quite fun. I wanted to mention that I am on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded territories of the Coast Salish and Musqueam Indigenous tribes, colonially known as Vancouver, Canada. Let's see, and we've got, oh, hi, Peter. He says, woohoo! Yes, I'm pretty sure Peter is going to be excited for today's topic, and I hope others are as well. Today we are talking about acts of service as a love language, and in the BDSM context as well. There's going to be, I'm sorry, noise. There might be a small child that does interrupt me. I have my youngest, who is 6, constantly getting the snurfles, as we call them. It's basically just a runny and stuffy nose. Anyone who is familiar with young children knows that, like, young children are just mucusy germ spreaders. It's really gross. And he's not quite grown out of that yet. He's still that, like, super snotty, snurfly kid. And of course, I'm going to keep him home if he's super snurfly. So he's home today. Got, hey, Robin, says Facebook user, I know. And then the next comment is, darn it, my name isn't showing. How can we make our name show? And that is from Christy. And I know there's a way to do it. And I'm trying to remember what it is. Shit. There's a way to do it. Something about, let me see if it's here. If anyone knows, please tell me. I know that there's like a link basically to Restream. That you basically sign in like with your Facebook name so that it shows your name. I struggle with this too. I know there's a way to do it. If you know how to do it, please help me out. I know there's a way to do it. It's Monday. It's one of those things I've said for a long time that I enjoy Mondays, and I did want to do Mondays because, Mondays are typically known for kind of sucking. And, we're all kind of tired and trying to get back into the routine of like our day-to-day weekdays, routine and scenarios. But, and so, yeah, and it's, I mean, what I was going for has, I would say, been successful. I've had people say, I love, having a Monday where I'm like, oh, Monday morning, I'm not really looking forward to it. And then I get to listen to talking about sex and stuff like that. So it's me trying to make Mondays nicer for others and for myself, because I really, really enjoy being here. At the same time, I'm tired and like, what the fuck is going on? I don't know. So, double-edged sword. So if you know, please let me know. Otherwise, I mean, on Mandy's show, I still am a Facebook user, so I'll just put a little R at the end of my comments because, yeah. Anyways, we're gonna get into it, and I wanted to put my thing up here that says Sex with Robin on Split Radio. I like this because it says, and it shows what that means, what Split Radio means: sex positive lifestyle inclusive talk radio. Not easy coming up with a name for something, especially one that doesn't already exist. Okay, so happy Monday, everyone. We are talking about acts of service. And I wanted to start in the love languages perspective because I feel like that is one that everyone, kinky people, queer people, mainstream culture folks, as someone had commented last week, was a good word for muggles. Um, it's something that everyone can relate to. If you're not familiar with the love languages, all there's what, 5 of them. There's there's gifts, there's touch, time spent, words of affirmation, and acts of service. So it's not like giving a gift. It is doing something. Basically, the way I kind of have perceived it and explained it is like I enjoy something that makes my life a little bit easier. So acts of service might be doing some dishes. An act of service might be one of my favorite acts of service is getting me a cup of tea. I love, I love my tea. I love, and of course in the South you have to say hot tea. I've learned this, and I've learned to just bring my own tea bags when I travel because I like tea, and I'm like, oh, figure it's everywhere. No, it's hard to get in some places sometimes. So I like my hot tea, and if someone can make me a cup of tea and bring it to me, that is huge. I love receiving acts of service. So in terms of love languages, I just want to quickly mention that I think it's important not just to know what love language you receive that really makes you feel loved, basically, what makes you feel loved, but also how do you tend to show love in the love languages? Because I feel like that specifying about that gets kind of skipped or missed, I think, all too often when discussing love languages, because receiving acts of service is absolutely huge for me. It's something that really, really makes me feel like loved and like you care. And if you're literally doing even the tiniest thing to essentially try to make my life easier, I feel so loved. I do enjoy doing acts of service for some. I'm not a super that, but that's not my most prominent way of showing love, right? So just because I love receiving acts of service, and that is often something that makes me feel loved, as well as touch and words and affirmation. Um, Time spent is a difficult one. I do like it, but it's not my go-to. I also really like my space. And gifts are nice, and sometimes I like little things, but it's not my number one. Like for example, Brandon, he does a lot of gift giving. He loves it, and it's like a little thing that he might see in a store or something that he decided to make and thought of you. And he likes bringing me chocolate and wine, and that, I would call that a gift and not an act of service because it's like when he was out getting groceries, he's like, "Oh, I found this chocolate bar. I know how much you love it, so I brought it home for you." That is giving a gift, and he loves doing that. And I know that because that is something that is one of his major ways of showing love. I can recognize that, and because gift giving isn't a huge list on for me, but I can recognize and understand that that is one of his ways of showing love. That is one of his love languages in terms of how he shows love. And so I've become that much more appreciative of when he does something like brings home a bottle of wine for me. Um, that's I can appreciate it that much more knowing that those are part of his love languages. So, Monster, you get out of here. Love you. I promised I'd make him noodle soup after this. So he's already like, "Where's my noodle soup?" Yes, I will make you noodle soup. Okay, so what are some acts of service that you can think of? Because we're going to go down there, we're going to end up, talking BDSM, but I want to give some examples in terms of acts of service that you see in everyday scenarios. Um, oh man, uh, making a meal. I don't know if I'd call that gift giving. That might be acts of service. What do you think? Um, I okay. I might call this an act of service actually. I am in my household, I am typically the one that makes all the dentist appointments and the doctor's appointments, and I'm the one go-to to talk about school issues, or registration or information, any of that like day to day having to organize and call, you know, any of the things we really hate doing. Got to set up. Oh, we got to change our internet plan. I'm likely the one that's going to have to make the calls, and that labor is something that I really really hate doing. I do. I'm not a fan of like making appointments and having to fill out certain forms and signing things. But I mean, Brandon, he works graveyard, so he's usually sleeping during the day. So it's on me to do it. It's definitely my responsibility. I mean, don't worry, like we do take on some of that together, but it's prominently me because I'm the one that is awake during the day, during the kind of hours that most like businesses and organizations are going to be open. I'm the one awake, so of course the school's going to call me if there's a concern, and that is a lot of labor. If Brandon is like, hey, so for some reason the dentist called me to set up appointments, and I set up appointments for the kids, I will like fall on the ground happy crying. I would call that an act of service, like when Brandon does like without me asking, okay, takes initiative and maybe handles a situation that involves having to call, hydro company, or having to call someone about internet service or anything like that. If he handles that without me asking, oh, that is that's like sex to me. Sometimes. So, yeah, taking care of just like things to me that I just can't stand. I cannot stand it. Oh, we've got a comment here. Oh, and it's from Christy. Hi, Christy. It's so good to see you. I know I can't actually see you. Christy's comment is, my partner makes me dinner once or twice a week when we see each other. He's really interested in what foods I like, etc. He's also really attentive to portion size since I have that need. That's that's beautiful. That is totally an act of service, and the attention to details and what your needs are in particular, I think it really speaks volumes. So that's really really nice. Brendan actually really loves cooking for people as well. I love feeding people. I'm like that stereotypical mom there. And see, this is like where I love actually, Chrissy, that you mentioned that portion size is a need that you have. And that's something I feel like I need to work on actually, because I just tend to like feed people constantly. And I like to ask about dietary restrictions, of course, or preferences in food. But portion size, that is something that actually I think I need to take into consideration. So thank you for like calling attention to that for me. Like don't think that's what you're trying to do, obviously, but like, oh, thank you for that. I'm actually gonna think about it because Brendan has complained. I just give him like piles of food. Uh, and he's like, this is way too much food. And I'm like, yes, I'm showing love. Have all the food. But that might not actually be what someone needs. So something for me to remember. Thank you. Because yeah, I feed people. That is one of my things. I will feed you. And I will, like that mom, I will send you home with leftovers, little Tupperware, send you a little baggie with some cannabis if that's something that you need. Here, sweetheart. I take home some leftovers. Here's some cookies I baked and some cannabis. Yes, acts of service. Um, are you into acts of service, and what are your major love languages? Um, okay, in terms of BDSM, and I think it's good to talk about the love language and BDSM because I know I've seen people be really, I want to say like maybe baffled or perplexed by service in BDSM. And so I bring it to love languages to show like that is a legit form of showing love, or showing affection, showing respect, showing that you are putting effort into something. And in the BDSM world, I I love service bottoms because I do love acts of service. So to clarify, a top, of course, being the person that is typically doing the action, or I might say like a D type, a dominant type, and an S type or submissive or bottom. Bottom is typically the one that is receiving. And of course, with love languages, topping, to be a service top means you are the one that is doing the action. So there are people that are maybe not dominant, that they are more of a submissive type, but they want to do something for you. That's all that I know. Terms are going to get confusing, or a little confusing. But I will try to make it as simple as possible. So bottoms that are really service oriented is maybe a way I would phrase it. I love bottoms that are very service oriented, because again, that's one of the ways I love receiving love languages. Anything little or big that's going to make my life easier means so much to me. I tend to get really overwhelmed, and I know some of y'all know this, a lot of y'all know this. I do have ADHD and I am bipolar. I'm manic a lot. So mania and ADHD together sometimes is really, really difficult for me to deal with. And I do know that that is a lot for some of my partners to have to deal with. Obviously, it's no one else's responsibility to care for my mental health. That is like, my mental health is on me. But it is one of those things. It's like, it kind of comes with the package deal. I can be all over the place sometimes, and I tend to be really forgetful with things like scheduling, responding to emails and text messages. That's something I'm constantly trying to work on, because I'm that person that will see your text and not be able to answer it in that moment, and then I might forget about it. So, and I tell people that know me and love me, I'm like, if you need to poke at me, that shouldn't be on you, but don't be worried or feel like you're going to annoy me or nag me if you need to be like, hey, poke, sending a reminder, we were going to talk. I'm like, oh shit, thank you. It does actually mean a lot to get reminders, and I don't want to depend on others for those reminders. In an active service scenario, that is something that one of the things I really, really crave and want from a service oriented bottom. So to elaborate, to be more specific, I guess, Kink Fest is coming up in like less than 2 weeks now. It's a BDSM event in Portland, in Oregon, and there is someone who is going to be in service to me for the weekend. Have offered their service, and they're like, I will be in service to you that weekend. And we've been negotiating and discussing what that means. So I would say the first kind of thing I started with is like, okay, what do you get out of acts of service? Like, what is that like for you? Why do you like providing service? Because I want to know what they get out of it and how I can help reward them. For example, and one of the topics came up, so do you like being told good girl, good boy, good human, good whatever? And they had said, they're like, I use they, them pronouns, but they had said I use girl and boy interchangeably, so you can say good girl, good boy. But they were like, that doesn't do it as much for me. I like kisses, touch. And I'm like, okay, that's good. That's a love language. Someone that wants to be rewarded with physical affection and kisses and touch and pets, as opposed to words of affirmation, right? So like legit, a lot of the negotiations come down to, at least I help understand them a lot of times, as love languages. So I'm like, that's great to know, because there are some people that just want to be told good girl, good boy, and that is something that they really crave. They aim to please. Oh, here we got a comment here from Christy, and it's long, so if not all of it's going to show up on the screen, I will read all of it though. Thank you, Christy. Let's see. It says, oh, I'm going to have to click it again to be able to read it, it looks like. Okay. Advice for managing a relationship that consists of 2 acts of service partners. I find that when my partner gives or does something, I have a hard time just accepting the gift or accepting the extra attention without feeling the need to respond with an equal, quote, gift or service. I can recognize that this isn't what either of us want. Like, he doesn't give service with the intent of receiving service. I leave feeling a little guilty that I didn't plan or do anything big when he does. It's not been an issue in our newer relationship, but I want to fully navigate the mental aspect in myself. And that was Christy. Thank you for that. That is definitely something that can come up. And you hear about it like with gifts. You want to know what gift they got you so that you didn't get them a gift too big or too small, because it has to be, equal. And that is something that I know a lot of us struggle with. So you're definitely not alone in that. Um, yeah, talking through it and making sure that, is the act of service something that needs to be reciprocal. And that's other things too. That goes with gifts, that goes with sex. Does everything in sex have to be reciprocal? No. um and what does it mean for things to be equal? And I think maybe exploring that can be really helpful. So yeah, thank you for sharing that. um but yeah, so the first thing I tend to do is find out. I talk about intent a lot. Okay, so acts of service, what does that do for you? And then I explained what acts of service does for me. I'm like, literally anything that makes my life, and particularly the weekend. I'm going to focus a little bit on that just for context. The weekend that I'm going to be presenting, and I'm attending a conference, and I'm going to be doing one class per day for 3 days, so 3 workshops altogether. Um, and of course, I've got like merch and stuff that I sell. People like to come up to you and ask you questions, or even just comment or critique on a workshop that they saw. Maybe people just are like, hey, just wanted to say hi. Maybe people are interested in playing with me. That's what it's like at a conference, right? Like, I'm going to be busy and there's a lot of people, and there's a schedules, man. I, again, like someone who has ADHD and is often quite manic, especially at a conference. And that's something that I work on with myself, is to make sure I have breaks. I use cannabis. That helps greatly with mania. It helps calm me down and kind of recenter and focus, make sure I'm not flying away. um, so and I said, what I need is basically like a personal assistant. So when people, I joke about this all the time. I'm like, I need a personal assistant. I don't have the funds to like pay someone for a job, which I think you should be able to do. But I'm always joking, like, I'm always hiring for personal assistant in the exchange of beatings. And I said this to Mandy the other day. And she's like, what else can you offer other than beatings? I'm like, I could definitely like spit on you and humiliate you. Like we could negotiate. I can't offer money. And there are people that would happily, do any kind of service in exchange for like BDSM, which I mean, I did pro doming. I'd have people clean my house, and in exchange, I would spank them, you know. Um, but I need a personal assistant. Okay, but no, for the weekend of Kingfest, um, I I have this person who's going to be in service to me for the weekend, and we're still kind of discussing a lot of what that means. And number one, y'all know, a cup of tea. Oh, sorry. Yeah. I know, baby. We're out of milk. I'll run out and get some milk later when daddy's awake, okay? Okay, sweetheart. I'm almost done. Oh, he's feeling so miserable. I'm going to give him lots of cuddles. Poor guy. I get really miserable when I'm snarfly too. Sorry about that. What was I saying? For the weekend, oh, my cup of tea. That is like, I'm like, okay, and this is what we're negotiating. I'm going to be the dominant one in this situation. This person is going to be in service for me, and we've discussed uh, different things that they really like, ways they like to show service, and what I like to receive. So I've said I would like a cup of tea in the morning, and I haven't told them how I like my tea yet, but I'm going to make sure that I do, because they're like, I want to make sure it's done properly. And I'm like, that's perfect. I'm usually one that likes to see effort more than perfection. If you show that you worked really, really hard, like that's, or that you really put yourself into it, then that's all I really want. But they've expressed that doing it properly is way more important to them. So I'm like, okay, cool. That's great negotiation. Recognizing that for them to feel like they're really doing a good job, they need to have it done properly, and they're okay with me making sure that it's right. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to keep that in mind. Making sure that they do make my tea the way that I like it. And I have asked that they wake me up and hand me a cup of tea so I can sit and try to wake up, and keep me on schedule, doing things like, in terms of acts of service, like, okay, well, you have a workshop in 2 hours and you haven't eaten in a while. Now would be a good time for you to eat. Making sure that I'm fed, making sure that I have water and that I'm staying hydrated, making sure that I show up on time. Do I have all the things I need? That to me is a lot of what I crave and what I really need. The best thing that someone can give me in terms of service for a weekend, at a conference. So we're talking about things like that. I've also said I'm not okay with you sacrificing any of your needs to be in service of me. I fully expect you to be taking breaks when you need. I expect you to be feeding yourself. I expect you to be well rested and well hydrated as well. And that is part of my requirement, is that you are also taking care of yourself. And they're like, wow, thank you. That's good. So, because yeah, I'm not okay with somebody going, hungry. Oh, here we go. We've got comments here. Ha ha, I volunteer as tribute. And I'll go to conferences and keep you on schedule. Now, if I could get all the time off work. Exactly. I know that's the shitty thing with, living in this capitalist society. I wish I could have like a personal assistant, like full time, but I do not have the funds to pay them. And I recognize that people need to have jobs or some kind of income in order to provide for themselves, and possibly others. So I can give you room and board, and I can beat you, pee on you, whatever you like. Can't give you money. um, that's good. But thank you, Christy. I will take you up on that sometime. Maybe you can be in service to me some weekend. That would be incredible. I would love that. And another comment. Yeah, I could step on your face. Lol. It's true. Yeah. You want me to step on your face? I'll step on your face. I offer all kinds uh, of, of service, and that's just it. Some people love getting, stepped on in the face. Some people love getting spat on. Some people want to be humiliated. I'm not, and that's just it. Like, making sure that, I guess, when there is somebody with the acts of service, and that's going back to, okay, what do you get out of it? So does somebody want to be told they're a good girl or a good boy or a good human? Does somebody want, in this case, the person who's coming with me to Kinkfest wants kisses and affectionate rewards of physical touch, like pets and kisses. Some people might want to be humiliated, might want to be told that they're doing a horrible job. And in other cases, that might destroy someone, right? So figuring out what drives you to do the act of service, if that's possible, or what is it that you like about it? How do you like being rewarded? Maybe you want to have someone step on your face as a reward. I will happily step on someone's face as a reward if that's what makes them feel rewarded. Oh, Mandy says, I need a babysitter too. That could be an absolute act of service. And I have had partners do that before. A former partner has 100% like stepped in to help when I was maybe like sick and not able to take care of my baby or something because I was vomiting all day. And it's like, nope, I got it. I've had people come over and rub my feet when I was really pregnant, you know? Anything that helps make my life easier is something that makes me feel loved. And I know that that is something that other people crave giving. I got another comment here. It says, during cons, I always forget to eat or take care of myself. I absolutely need a babysitter during them. Yeah, like I need somebody to remind me to eat. Or and I've had bottoms that were in service, especially like during a con. Like you don't have to be like, "Sir, I'd like to get you a glass of water." Just hand me the bottle of water. Just bring me some water and I'll be thank you. Cuz otherwise I'm going to forget. Just bring me the water. Um oh she meant a Mandy sitter. Oh right, so not for your kids. But I have had people like step in and help take care of kids. But yeah, maybe I need a Robin sitter. That's basically what I need. Stop me from walking out into traffic. I've had Okay, can anyone else relate? Either you're that person that has been saved many times by someone just grabbing you from, stepping out into traffic, or you've been that person that's always stopping others. I've been stopped a couple times when I'm just not paying attention. Just thank you. I need someone to just stop me from walking into traffic. Thank you very much for your service. Let me step on your face. I got another comment here, and it is a long one again, so you're not gonna be able to see all of it up on the screen, but I will read all of it. I think that communication in these situations is the best part, though. I have a partner that likes humiliation. I'm very into building people up, telling them how amazing they are, etc. Through the years, we've communicated a ton about balancing these needs. I've learned that it's less about the process in these situations and more about how well these conversations have improved our communication about our needs. At the end of all of these topics, it always comes back to good communication. 1000%. Very well said, Christy. I That deserves a slow clap. Not a. I'm trying to learn how to do a slow clap without looking sarcastic. I can only look sarcastic and salty as fuck when I do a slow clap, but that wasn't a sarcastic salty. It was a genuine. You deserve a good slow clap. Thank you for that. Um, and if you, I hope you were watching. If not, you can catch it. You could still catch it on the Facebook group, The Many Loves Lunch Hour, or on Mandy's YouTube. Which is it called, The Many Loves Lunch Hour, or is it Mandy Conant? Mandy, are you able to specify where people can get your previous episodes? Because Mandy today, just in the hour before my show, was talking about specifically bad communication. And it was like for an hour and tons of conversation happening. And I could talk more. I was like, oh, it's over. Oh, crap. Now I got to go. Because, yeah, communication is really, really, really important. And so, part of what I do when I'm working with people and observing and trying to help with their communication, a lot of it comes down to the not just the love languages, but in the same way how we process information, how we express emotion, and then how we receive it. So like it's not there's always, a couple of sides. There's how I tend to process things, how I tend to express things. And then the other person, how do they tend to process things? How do they tend to express things? Because there's a lot of factors. And so being recognizing all of that and discussing all of that to figure out how best can I maybe try to adjust things, or just to be aware of things with my partner. Oh yes, and here it is. YouTube. It's called The Many Loves Lunch Hour, and I lost Mandy's link when you switched to split. Thank you. Sorry. Facebook group The Many Loves Lunch Hour with Mandy is where you can catch. Today's episode was really good. So, oh, sorry, one sec. Yeah, I'm almost done work. I'm going to say 15 minutes. Okay. And we'll have all of the snuggles. Okay. I'm actually going to go early today, I think. Um, yeah, we'll have lots of snuggles and I'll make you your noodle soup. Okay. And you can pick a show. We can watch a show together. Okay, sweetheart. I'll be right there. I'm almost done. Where's Hobbs? You want to go snuggle Hobbs until I'm there? Oh, yeah. I'm going to be heading out early today. He looks really miserable. Poor guy. Um, yeah, an active service right now might be come help me finish the show or take care of my kid. Cause yeah, it's my life. I got a mom and I got to work, and I'm actually I'll share some fun things about my weekend if you want to share some fun things about your weekend. This weekend I got to go to a party that was, I don't want to call it a women's party. It was definitely like a basically no cis dudes party. There were non-binary and trans folks there. It was really, really nice. Honestly, it was good. And it's funny because we were kind of mentioning, it's for a friend, I won't say who kind of hosts regular private parties that are kink and sex positive. And um, I was like, "Oh yeah, did you get any kind of backlash or people complaining that they couldn't attend because they're basically a cis man?" And she was like, "No, actually, even when I hold my regular parties, there's only like a couple of cis dudes that show up." Like, and I was like, "You know what? That's actually a good point. Your parties don't usually have a ton of cis men anyways. So we're basically excluding like two people." And we had a laugh. We were like, "Whoops, sorry." But I don't know, sometimes you just need that energy. But it was a really sexy time. It was so much fun. And I will show you. I'm gonna make sure there's no children here. I'll show you. I posted it on my Instagram what Brandon wrote on me before going to this party. Let's show you, and then I will tell you in case you're not seeing. Oh, it's almost faded. It's almost gone now. He took a Sharpie and wrote in big caps lock letters across my chest, "No anal." So I was like, that's my only limit. Whatever happens, that's all my only limit. If we get into a big pile, just in case someone can see. Other forms of communication, just no anal. Um, but no, it was a really fun time. Lots of sexy times. So yeah, let's see. How was your weekend? I got a comment right here. Oh, this weekend I got lots of snuggles with a partner and got to spend a casual Saturday hanging out, playing games, and cooking. Oh, that sounds glorious. It was such a good day. I love those little moments with him and my meta, his partner. It's the little things that warm the heart. Christy, thank you for sharing. That sounds amazing. That's the kind of weekend I need next weekend, I think, because then the weekend after that is Kinkfest. So next weekend, I'm like, nope, just pajama, chilling, watching movies, playing games. Actually, that was basically my yesterday because I was tired after the party. So we basically hung out in our pajamas and I played Pokemon with the kids, like for a lot of the day. We played a lot of Pokemon. Um, I also, yeah. So let me know if you're curious about acts of service and what are some other forms. I guess I should go into other forms. I'm mostly talking about myself, but I can talk about other forms of like service. And for some folks, there's heavy protocol involved when we're talking in the BDSM world. And that's totally cool, whether you're into protocol, whether you're not. Um, and it's really, really cool. I've seen a lot of great workshops on posture and different physical positions. So, like I had mentioned a moment ago, I'm like, just bring me water. Just hand me a bottle of water. That's all I want. Some tops might be more protocol heavy, might want you to present it in a certain way, either maybe with their hands open, facing up, in a very respectful manner. Some might want you to go down on one knee. Some might want um, human furniture. Some might want you to go on your hands and knees and make a footrest, which I don't know. I like doing that sometimes. I think there's something really hot about it. Um, but I personally am not a heavy protocol person, and that's okay. I still love watching and respecting human protocol kink stuff. I do love it. It's just not always my jam. I'm always like, I don't got time. Just give me the water. Other times it can be really fun. So if I am with a bottom that really, really loves protocol, then I'm not going to suddenly be like, I'm now hardcore 24/7 protocol, because that wouldn't be sustainable for me, honestly. So that's a compatibility thing to work with. But if it's something that's not heavy all the time, if it's something that is sustainable for me, then I can go, yeah, let's talk. Let's see if I can implement some more protocol into our dynamic. Again, it has to be something that works for me. So when you're talking about like working with other people and negotiating and figuring out how to get each other's needs met, I'm not saying that there should be I'm not talking compromise, but I'm talking like doing something to really help your partner feel fulfilled. So like protocol is not big for me, but if someone's really big on it, I'm going to do a little bit extra to try to instill some protocol into our dynamic in a way that is sustainable and doable for me, that isn't going to, wear me out. And we got a comment here. You need the following weekend to decompress too. Don't forget to take care of you. You deserve it. Thank you. Yes. Cons are exhausting. This is my first con since COVID, so there's a lot to unpack there. Like, I don't even know how I'm going to respond to tons of people. I don't know whether I'm going to need more breaks or less than usual. So and the person who's going to be in service to me, where we've definitely gone over that. For both of us, there's a lot of unknowns in terms of how we're going to respond to being around other people and the heavy socialization after so much isolation. So we're going to have to be extra gentle and do a lot of check-ins. And I have said, yeah, I need to have breaks, and you're going to need breaks, and we're going to need check-ins. Comment here. I used to have a puppy that was a service bottom. It was a lot of work, honestly, says Mandy. And yeah, I love puppies so much. Pups I shouldn't say can be a lot of work. Like when I say cis puppies, I mean like a canine, as opposed to like a human pup. Both are a lot of work. It is a lot of work, and I love pups. I actually love at a con just playing with them for a little bit, like of course with permission and consent and all of that. And I'm like, oh no, I love doggies. I love pups. They make me so happy. But yeah, to have like a 24/7, that's a lot of work. So like, are you up for the responsibility? And is that level of protocol and care that person needs, is that sustainable for you? And that's part of the reason that I'm not heavy protocol. Not only does it not super feed me as much as certain things, but it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, and that needs to be discussed and checked in on. And it's a lot of work for both people. I'm not just saying like, oh, my poor tops, but really truly, protocols and certain DS dynamics can be a lot of work. And I think it's important to be prepared and knowledgeable of what is involved in that dynamic. What is something, I should say, I hesitate to use the word expected, because that's something you negotiate. But again, if it's a BDSM dynamic and there's a dominant submission dynamic, I will express it in a way where after we've negotiated, I'll be like, yes, I expect this, because that's the dynamic we've consented to. So yes, I'm going to expect a cup of tea the way I like it in the morning. And oh, here's another one. My ankle's really fucked up. That's a whole long story that I'm going to get into another time. But my ankle is fucked up and I really hope not, but might need surgery. And it's going to be a long-term thing. And I need to use my TENS unit, and I need to do my ankle exercises. And I'm going to need to do them. I'm not going to do my ankle exercises over the weekend, because I am going to be exercising it a lot by walking around a lot. I've talked to my physiotherapist about this, but I'm going to bring my TENS unit, and I'm like, to my service bottom, I'm like, hey, in the morning while I'm drinking my cup of tea and trying to figure out what year it is when I wake up in the morning, I'm going to want to use my TENS unit. Make sure that I use it before we leave the hotel. Make sure I use it before I go to bed. Don't let me go to sleep without using it, because if I don't have somebody to make me do it, I'll probably just fall asleep. Yes, sweetheart. 3 more minutes. I'm going to close up right now, okay? Okay. 3 minutes, and I'm signing off a little bit early today. I got a comment here from Mandy. It says, Jerry actually named him Puppy because he would follow me around like a puppy. After that, we naturally went into that dynamic. It was a lot of work, though. I don't think I would ever do it again. That's so sweet. I love puppies. It is a lot of work. It's a lot of work. And your dynamic can be a lot of work. So be prepared for that. Be willing. Like any relationship is a lot of work. You have to be willing to put some effort into it and have time that you put aside for check-ins and renegotiations, because people change, dynamics change. Fight me on it. Seriously. None of this till death do us part. It's as long as it's healthy and people change. Let's work on that. I got another comment. Yeah, poor kiddo. Lots of healing vibes to your house this week, Christy. Thank you, Christy. My youngest Calvin is a lot like me in that when he's just snarfly, he doesn't have any other symptoms. He is miserable, and I get like that. I am a totally miserable sick person. And I think it was like a week or so ago that we all kind of had the snurfles, and he's the last. He's got it. Everyone else is doing great. And now poor Calvin is snurfly. So I am going to finish up now. Because I'm going to go spend some time with my kid. I'm going to close off early today because the poor guy needs his mom. So I'm going to go do that. It's a lot of work, just like any other dynamic. So yeah, I'm going to close off for the day, but please continue. Like if there's any more things you can think of that maybe are acts of service or something you've seen where you're like, whoa, whether it's super protocol, kinky wise, or if it's just like everyday mainstream muggle style acts of service and love languages, let's discuss. And I'm gonna be snuggling a monster. My phone, so I'm going to be watching the comments and stuff like that. And thank you so much for listening. Oh, here we go. We got comment. Thank you. Lease to lease relationships. Yes. And we love you, Mandy. I love you too. You had a really great show today. And of course, before I go, don't forget to check out adamandeve.com for all of your sexy sexcessories. They have, I can't even, they have so much stuff. Dildos, lubes, cushions, lingerie, all kinds of like I've got to do the motion. The masturbators, like fleshlight style stuff. They've got a lot of stuff, which is really cool. Just a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? Variety of different things. So if you're looking for it, chances are you'll find it on adamandeve.com. Use my promo code SWR for 50%, as in half off almost any one item plus free shipping. And so it says almost any one item. It's most of them. One or two, it might be like 35% off instead, or 25% off. So try the promo code. See if you can get 50% off, especially if it's like a high priced item, because then you're saving a lot getting like a nice vibrator. I promise you it makes a whole difference getting like maybe a higher quality toy. But this way you get half off. 1 more minute with free shipping in US and Canada. Yes, I'm closing up. I am right now. I was mentioning my sponsors. Okay. And saying goodbye to everyone. I love you all so much. And I'll keep you posted. Actually, I don't even know what topic I'm doing next week. What topic do you want to hear next week? Thanks everyone for joining. Next week, I'll announce it. My social medias are at Sex with Robin. Oh, fun stuff. I have to say, really fun stuff. I Split Radio. I signed to Split Radio on SoundCloud, and I'm now putting episodes on Spotify under Split Radio. So I'm going to be sharing that today with links and such. There's like a few episodes on there, and it's the Split Radio account. So you'll get any other shows that are also on Split Radio. So like right now it's Sex with Robin and The Many Loves Lunch Hour, and others that are going to be joining. I know we keep teasing, but we're still working through some details with other groups, trying to get other people on board. Your stuff can be on Split Radio. So that's what's happening. What about someone commented free use as a topic. Can you elaborate? Free use? I'm not understanding. Maybe I need more caffeine. Um, yes, I gotta close up. I gotta go take care of a monster. But we're on Spotify now, and there's gonna be more content coming. I'm gonna try to also expand to other things. So if you're a podcast person, you can listen on Spotify. You can listen on SoundCloud. Here's a comment from Peter. Next week, perhaps talk about meeting people in person at munches and parties post-COVID. I'm still navigating that, but that is a great, great, great topic. And we've got, this is Jenny. Free use is when you have negotiated boundaries around one partner being free to use other partner. Oh, okay. Okay. So those are two great topics. I will cover those, I promise. I just got to figure out which weeks I'm going to do what. Maybe I'll have y'all vote on it, which one I do first, and we'll do both of those topics. Thank you so much for requesting topics. Helps me out a lot, actually. Thank you for watching. And one of those topics will be covered next week at 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern time, right after the Many Loves lunch hour. Love y'all so much. Take care of yourselves. And remember, if you have any loved ones or family that do not support you or accept you, I'm your family now. I love you all. Bye.
Butt plugs, dildos, polyam. The loose smith is a total sham. And should I say, sir or ma'am? So after you get your many loves, put on some nitrile gloves and listen in. We'll help you out. We'll help you with some